So this one, I wasn't even going to lie to anybody and say it was a single session adventure. I know this won't be. So this will probably be a 3 or 4 parter. So if somebody has to miss a particular section, we'll just work it into the game and don't worry about it too much. So here we go. The opening scroll. So the stars of the southern Antarctic continent. They wheel in patterns no human of the old world would recognize. Down, down, down through the aurora australis, through the howling dark, to a sweep of ice that has not known sunlight in 6 months. And here is our story so far. In the year of our Lord, 1934, the sky fell. The Xenolords, the spider squid abominations from beyond the edge of the known stars, descended upon an earth already weakened by their whispered poisons. In 6 months, the city of man became fields of black glass. In 6 months, the empires of 1,000 years burned. In 6 months, the human race was reduced to cattle. But one fortress held. In the frozen heart of Antarctica, beneath 2 kilometers of eternal ice, the Thule Society, prophets, scientists, and cold-eyed visionaries of the old Third Reich had prepared a redoubt, a last refuge, and a secret. Base 211. For 40 years, the Eisgeborenen, the Iceborn, have toiled in their blue-lit halls, perfecting their bodies, sharpening their wills, forging weapons of real energy against the day of reckoning, the day of breakout, and that day draws near. You are Sonderkommando Eiswolfe, specialists handpicked by General Oberst Lothar Brandt himself. Krieger intern Petra Eisling, Krieger intern Alexa, once of the broken, Krieger Friedrich, conjurer, Thule occultist Xavier Jan Janssen. Your first mission was the Kroll Massif, 80 kilometers east, 16 dead in the snow, but one traitor captured. The Quisling Thomas Varga, a sleeper agent of the Xenolod Collective who for 2 years wore the face of a humble Carpathian refugee geologist. From Varga's lips by methods that some might prefer not to discuss, 3 more names were pulled like rotten teeth. Mertz, Vogel, Stransky. 3 serpents in the garden of the Iceborn. 3 traitors suckling at the breast of humanity's last hope, a poison tail pounced to strike. Even while that was working out back at the base, Eiswolfe flew northeast to Marta Station, where a voice cried out across the ice on a frequency that should have been silent for 44 years. And you found an old man, a radio, a cavern full of dreaming, chitinous monstrosity. And you silenced the signal and you sealed the cavern and came home. But you came home to a different situation than the one you left. The time is now. In the 17 hours since Eiswolfe touched down in the Haunebu hangar, Dr. Kurt Vogel, one of the names named by the Quisling traitor, and chief maintenance engineer of the very disk fleet that had borne you home, has stolen an Eisdrache, one of the famous Ice Dragon hover tank vehicles. Oh, only this is a special one, the Iceman, a prototype maintenance tank, one he personally built, personally knows, and personally wired with improvements that never made it into the official schematics. His cargo, you have been informed, is a magnetically locked briefcase that contains the complete technical schematics of Base 211's defenses, the precise location of Digloka, which is a well-kept secret even among the Iceborn, the great bell that is the source of real energy at Base 211, and the personnel files of the entire War Council, and most damning of all, the Oberkommando's mission reports, including yours, detailing many secrets that would benefit the Xenolords, who have not apparently been entirely aware of what the spores they spread in Antarctica have accomplished. You have the record of the butcher at Kroll and the spore coordinates at Malta. These are potential weapons in the hands of the enemy, weapons aimed directly at Base 211. So at your hurried and perhaps slightly intense debriefing, you are informed that his destination is a chitin-festooned massif 220 kilometers north of Base 211, a place called by the Oberkommando the Shrike's Nest. It is a ruin. It is a biological nightmare. And it is a known Xenolord's activity zone, a place where the spore beasts wait for meat to stumble into their webs. Virtually all the native wildlife of the area wiped out long ago. But here is the concern. If Vogel reaches it, the Xenolords will know everything. Base 211 could fall. The bell could be destroyed. And the orbital lances that turned cities to glass could melt the ice of Antarctica and uncover every secret that had been hidden from them. And almost as bad, and somewhat inexplicably, they have discovered that Vogel has a 6-hour head start. You have been given the white baton of the Frostgraf himself, a fully armed Izdraka hover tank, and a copy of the manifest of what Vogel took, courtesy of Singrid Holst, who has not slept in days. And now the chase is on. You are in the Eistraka, the Ice Dragon Panzer IX. Screaming across the ice, low and fast, the aurora boiling above the vehicle. The cockpit alarm already screaming. Ice Wolf is on the hunt. So here is the actual mission briefing that you received. The Eisdrache Bay is a cathedral of chrome and blue neon carved from the heart of a glacier. 3 Panzerkampf Wagon 9 Ice Dragon hover tanks rest in their berths, their gray hulls scarred with the red runic insignia of the Thule program. The air smells of ammonia coolant, ozone, and diesel, a combination that burns the back of the throat and settles into the bones like a second pulse. The Ice Mod's berth, the experimental vehicle's berth, is empty, with a scatter of tools on the maintenance platform, a broken seal on the maglock console, a single boot print in an oil slick leading to the bay doors. Feldwebel Anna Roth is already in the pilot's compartment running the pre-flight. She will be your pilot for this mission, but she makes it clear to you she is not a fighter or a warrior, and she will need every bit of your help. She does not even look up as you approach. She's 34 Iceborn with the kind of face that has stopped being surprised by anything in the world that can throw at it. You all know of her by reputation. She's very capable, but she is considered somewhat reckless, and so you have not worked with her in the past. But now she is the only pilot available out of the many teams who have been sent out chasing after various escapees who were part of the cell that Kurt Vogel was himself a part of. So,
I am just shocked with the idea of a reckless German. I'm sorry.
well, she's reckless by German standards, you know, which would
Okay.
probably mean she's a very boring American. But anyway, yes. So,
I was kind
as
of
she sees,
imagining her as being like that the one person who actually drives with a lead foot and isn't actually unsafe, just someone who is actually going to go at full speed, unlike everyone else.
yeah, it makes you nervous when she does so. But then again, these are the people who invented the Autobahn, so who knows? So, as you all pile in after receiving your your instructions personally from the base commandant, she, without looking up at you, just says, "Vogel cleared the outer gate 6 hours ago. The hangar crew found the breach at 0400. I've heard the General Oberst wants him back badly, alive preferably, but he didn't say intact, so I wouldn't lose sleep over it." And now she looks at you with her eyes the color of glacier ice, like all the iceborne, shades of blue, some paler, some darker. The Shrike's nest is 220 kilometers north, and Vogel's got a 6 hour head start in the Iceman. He's running dark. We don't see any heat signature and no comms. But the Eugenics Holland tells us he's modified the sensor array. Um, Xavier, she looks at you. You might be able to detect him because some of his modifications could be detectable at range using Vril. Friedrich, she looks at you and tosses you a clipboard. Frostgraph seal, lethal force authorized. Hunt him down, bring back what's his. I can drive you, but at the end of the day, the rest of it is all on you. And then she pushes a button, slides a card in a slot, and the eyes Draka's drive core hums to life. The gravitic cushions engage, and the enormous armored vehicle raises 3 centimeters off the deck. 100 tons of vril-infused Thula cultic metal. And yet it lifts into the air as if it were as light as a cloud, hovering on a whisper of vril light. You hear the bay doors grind open, and beyond them, the Aurora Australis, the ice, the chase. So, let you guys know the mission parameters. So, what you were told your objective was is to intercept and disable or capture the stolen Ice Draka, Iceman, and its pilot, Dr. Kurt Vogel. The distance to Shrike's Nest, which is his apparent destination, is 220 kilometers north of Base 211. So you guys are headed due north, out towards the Antarctic Ocean, the southern seas. Um, Vogel's got a head start of 6 hours. You're using an Ice Draka, but unlike his, yours is fully armed and armored. Um, his is a special version, but it is not armed. And you guys have 5 hours. After that, the risk is that Vogel reaches the nest, sets up his relay, and the data is gone. You know from dealing with Varga that these particular traitors to humankind are not concerned about their own lives. Their devotion to the Xenolords is such that it is sufficient for them to get the data out, whether or not they themselves survive. So you're not just catching him, although that's very important. The key thing is the data.
So I guess
And
is it that they're kind of sort of like not thinking rationally, and it's something.
Well, they're thinking rationally, but they're not interested in their own lives, right? I mean, they're not rational from the point of view of the people at base 211, because why would you sacrifice potentially your own life to help the enemies of the whole human race? And of course, we know the answer, because they are firmly convinced that the Xenolords are what are best for humankind, because the Xenolords say so. And humankind has achieved true equality, and all injustice has been eliminated, because all of humanity are slaves and cattle. It's the equality of the slave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is like thinking is like my character would probably think this is like mind control or something, but I don't know.
Well, you already know that the Xenolords do use pheromones. You knew that from well, you've already known it, but you actually experienced that in the last adventure, the Signal. Whereas Base 211 and the Iceborne have access to real energy and can actively use it, the Xenolords can't really do anything with it other than absorb it as a kind of fuel source. They can't make effective use of it, but they do have their own biological technology, which is pretty terrifying. Um, so let's see. Let me make a quick note here. Let me see here. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Let me make some notes here. Okay. So, you guys are in the Ice Dragon. You've received your mission briefing. So, the crew manifest, you do have an NPC, Feldwebel Anaroth, who is in the pilot seat. I'll let you guys do her roles and all that kind of stuff. The only thing she's really significant for is that she has an agility of 13 and a pilot skill of 3. She is quote unquote reckless. So in other words, she actually has the disadvantage. Although whether it's an advantage or disadvantage, I guess depends on the circumstances in this case. So Friedrich Miguel is in the commander's cupola. So you're effectively both the vehicle commander and the sensor operator. Petra, you're in the main gun turret. So you will be operating as the ship's gunner. Xavier, Jan, is holding down the pintle mount. Basically, you're kind of there because it's a spotter position. So yes, you can operate the pintle gun, but you're also there as a spotter to use your real abilities as needed. So Alexa, you're effectively operating as second in command at this point. You're the one who has expertise in the technologies and approaches of the Xenolords. So you kind of have observer and second in command role. Let's see. And I think that's got that's kind of the layout. Let me think for just a second. Double check. So obviously, without Erish, we don't have a specific engineer's role. That's because he's at he's doing things back at the base. He was kind of a temporary assignment to the team, anyhow. So any engineering or technical checks will need to be taken up by a different character, is what it comes down to. So let's see. Okay. So you guys are on the open Antarctic plateau. At this point in time, you're 30 minutes in. It's 50 kilometers to the Skarvik spine. Both tanks are moving at 80 kilometers an hour. And at this stage, despite his advantages, he's only 4 kilometers ahead. He's deploying smoke every 30 minutes. Whether he's trying to signal or obscure his location is not clear. Xavier, of course, has his Frill Spectrum kit. And you know that Vogel's attempts to conceal himself with the technology he's using have not only slowed him down, thus giving you guys the chance to catch up, but also makes it easier to detect him. He's harder to detect visually, but to a Thule occultist, his use of Vril, and he's using it in large amounts, kind of stands out like he shot a flare gun into the midst of the darkness. So let me give you guys the scene. The ice raka screams across the ice. The gravity cushion hums at a frequency that loosens fillings. Outside, the aurora boils, green and violet ribbons twisting in the polar dark, throwing strange shadows across the snow. The temperature is minus 47 degrees Celsius, and the wind is at your back. In the cupola, Friedrich is watching the horizon, and he can see the Iceman, a gray shape 4 kilometers ahead, trailing a Vril and chitin-produced soaked smoke cloud that it billows pink-white in the headlamps. It has a weird, strangely organic smell to it. In the engine compartment, the override panel is dark because no one is currently monitoring it. In the cargo hold, Alexa, you've seen this smoke that's coming from the vehicle ahead of you before, and you know that this is a sign that he has intermingled the technology of the Iceborne with the technology of the Xenolords. This is his attempt to reduce the ability of the Iceborne to hit him from the sky. His biggest fear, apparently, was the Hanubu saucers. So the flying discs of the Iceborne were his concern because they fly so fast and they could have easily destroyed him. So now he's effectively invisible to them, but not to you. So Xavier, you're on the Pintle. A little bit of wind coming in. You can feel the Vril resonance like a taste in your mouth, blood and iron and something older. And you see Vogel ahead. Vogel running as hard and as fast as he can. So here's what we need to do. So you see Vogel's Iceman crest to pressure ridge, and it's visible for 8 seconds. A gray shape against the aurora. He is actually visible clearly at this point. So here are the options, Friedrich, for you to decide on. You do have a long-range shot at him, a 1.2 kilometers shot. The coaxial is free. Vril Lance cycling. So what do you guys do?
At this current speed, how long until we can catch him?
It's going to come down to the contested. It's a vehicle combat, so it's going to come down to the contested rolls.
Okay, but we are faster than him, right?
You are at this point in time faster because he's worried about using that technology of the Iceman to hide himself from the Hanibu discs, which of course fly at like 600 kilometers per hour. If he didn't have that, they would have already caught him. So some suggestions, things that you can do. We can roll for contested roll pilot checks to see if you're able to overtake. Friedrich, as commander, you can order the shot to be taken because you're in the cupola. Petra would actually make the shot, but it's possible that your influence roll could add to her ability to make the shot. Xavier, you have the ability to to disrupt his boost to, how shall I put this? So you can use real technic to get his bearing. Now that will be one daily discipline use of real auga. But that will give you that will make sure that you guys have a clear shot at the guy. And Alexa, you have the option to read his pattern to see what can you determine what his next action is, and what then, depending upon whether you succeed or fail, what impact that will have on the party's action. So who wants to make the roll for the pilot, the contested roll? It's a D20 roll, of course.
I'll pass, of course. I don't want to jinx it.
Okay. Who wants to make the D20 roll? You're not doing it with your skill points. You're doing it with Roth's, but
Well,
I'll let you guys make the roll.
Sure, why not? Well, I rolled.
Okay, and then I'll make Vogel's roll. Okay. So Roth, as you call out the visibility of the Iceman ahead, she is already kind of going full out, and you see she's kind of trying to steer accurately. She neither gains nor loses ground, so the range is fixed. So what I would recommend is that let's see. Let's see. So Petra, since Erish is not available, you are kind of in the you're in the weapon bay, and you're kind of monitoring the current cushion health. Could you make a technical roll, please? That's a D20. Oh, excellent. Excellent. Okay. So what you've just done, and please remind me of this, you've managed to improve, because the cushions you noticed were starting to run at kind of a subpar vibration. So you pushed a couple of buttons and twisted a couple of dials. Now you have improved Roth's next pilot check. So she will do better next time. Okay. Then Xavier, you could use real Oga to see through the smoke and give a precise bearing that Petra, or yourself for that matter, could use to target the vehicle. So this is a real technic roll.
Yeah. Target him so we can, like stop him from moving and stuff. Yeah, that sounds like a good.
That's the goal.
So just roll D20 for this, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Oh dear. Okay. So you have made one use of your Vril Olga. So that's one use of that daily discipline. Unfortunately, you did not succeed. I don't believe you did, at least. Let's see. What's your total roll for Vril Technic?
Oh man,
Is
I
this
just realized I don't have the file open. One sec.
sure? Let me take a look here. I will try to assist. So let's see. Looking for John's character sheet. So what I'm seeing, he has one rank in Vril Technic,
This is an int-based
and
thing. That would I would get a +3 for that, right?
yeah, that's correct.
So,
That is
and
correct.
Real Technic, I have 1 in that. So that would be a total of 7, which is probably below whatever the difficulty check was.
Yeah, in this particular case, you are correct. But you do have a pretty good roll normally. So as long as you don't roll real bad, normally you'll make these rolls, I'm sure. Okay, so let's take a look here. Continuing to go through the skill checks as you guys get ready for your first engagement. Presumably, not necessarily. It is a choice. It's a trade-off. So
You
let's
also
see.
try to roll to see what he's doing, like you said.
Okay, let's see. Go ahead and make your D20 roll.
Okay, I rolled a 7.
Yeah. Oh, you rolled a 7? Okay.
17.
So let's, 17. Okay.
What,
So
do I add
your
anything
7,
to it?
yeah. So your roll was an influence roll.
Mhm.
And let's see. Let me double check the skill check thing that I set up here. So I set it up as a target number 14. So you did a good job. So what you figure out is that he's running, not fighting. So he's probably going to he's the reason why he's only doing his kite and smoke periodically to avoid surveillance from above is that there's a pass leading to the Shrike's Nest. And your suspicion is that when he reaches that pass, that's when he's going to use the final smoke charge to obscure you guys at that point in time when you have the clearest shot at him. Let's see. And then Friedrich. So you can go ahead if you want to and make a wits check to see if you succeed in precisely tracking him visually. Congratulations, you made it. So now you grant a +1 to all coaxial attacks. And now we have Petra. Both Petra and Xavier, you both have the option to make ranged combat attacks.
Do we need
And
an order?
go ahead.
Do we need an order for that?
So let's see. Yeah, that's a very good point. So when Friedrich, have you decided to shoot or not shoot at him at this point?
I think it's
He is at long range, but you could hit the vehicle and theoretically damage it and reduce his movement.
that would be good, reducing his movement. Yes, take the shot.
Okay. Petra, do you want to take the shot? Xavier, do you want to shoot the coaxial weapon?
Yeah, I guess I'll do that.
Yeah, I'll shoot as well.
Wow, I managed to roll it too.
So
You are the one rolling badly today, I guess. Took my place.
I got a 12, but I have a bonus to ranged attacks.
yes, you do. Go ahead and calculate your total.
It's a +2.
Okay.
So that would be a 14.
Well, you actually get a +1 because Friedrich made his roll. So +1 to all attacks for this phase. So that adds an additional +1 to your attack. And it's true you have ranged combat too. Let me see if there's anything else. Okay, you're firing a Vril Ray weapon, so you get an additional +1.
So that's
I believe that's
4.
correct. Let me
So
double
that's
check.
16 altogether.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that is enough to hit. So let me double check the. So the weapon you're firing is the main gun, which is called the Vril Lance. And it does 3d6 points of radiant damage to the vehicle damage and ignores 6 points of defense. And the reason why normally the Iceman would be extremely hard to hit because these tanks have very high defense, but you're firing a Vril weapon. It ignores 6 points of defense. That's why you have hit it, despite its armor. So go ahead and roll 3d6. Okay. So
So that's 8.
all right. Now your coaxial weapon, which is the real Strahlen Carabiner, does 1d6 plus 1 damage. Xavier. It's not terribly effective compared to the real lance, but then again, it's not intended to punch armor. It's intended to hit people. But if his, number one, it's a rapid fire weapon, so it kind of forces him to keep his head down and avoid being hit. And number two, if the real lance does enough damage to his armor, then your weapon suddenly becomes a lot more effective. Okay. So let me make a note of the damage done. You did hit Petra. And let's see. All right, let me see. And let me make a roll for the effect of the damage. Let's see. Okay, so Friedrich made his wits check. So Friedrich, you see the Vril Lance bolt. And of course, you know the pattern with Vril weapons. What you see initially is a long beam of translucent blue, the targeting beam, and then you see a massive flash like blue fire or lightning go through the beam and hit its target. And you see a flash from the Iceman ahead of you, and you realize, yes, it has been hit.
Nice.
So you guys have drawn first blood, as they say. Okay. So let's see. Now I have to decide which of his options Vogel, who is not a combat specialist, will take in this situation. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so you guys are both still at the Scarvic Spine. Um, um, you guys are still about 1.2 kilometers behind him because the pilot was not able to make up any ground. Friedrich, you do have eyes on him. You're able to see him despite the smoke screen. Xavier, you're having difficulty seeing him or targeting him. Petra, with Friedrich's help, you managed to target him. Alexa, you have notified the team that you understand the tactics he's using. So, all right. Okay. So now we get to phase 2. Let me go ahead and give you guys the narration. Let me see where we are here. Okay, so if you did this, and so he will do that. Okay. So now you guys are much closer. A few minutes pass. You are much closer to the Shrike's Nest than you were, and you are in fact passing through the Scarvic Pass. So the Scarvic Spine is a collapsed moraine ridge about 400 meters high that runs east to west, and the pass is a 4-kilometer wide gap. But the approach is a switchback of pressure ridges and ice falls. So both of you have to slow down going through here. So the tanks are now moving about 40 kilometers per hour rather than the 80 that they were doing before. The pass swallows you. The moraine walls rise on both sides, black ice streaked with granite, the bones of a mountain that collapsed a million years ago. The Eisdrache's headlamps cut white tunnels through the dark. The gravitic cushion howls as the tank climbs the first switchback. In the cupola, Friedrich can see the Iceman's headlamps ahead. Climbing, 2 switchbacks up, 800 meters, then 600. Then the Iceman crests a ridge and is gone, vanished into the next valley. On the intercom, Roth's voice is flat. Pressure ridge at 2 o'clock. Black ice patch at 10. Hold on. The tank slews. No one is in the engine compartment, obviously, because Arish had to take other missions. The override panel is dark, so you have to pay attention to the cushions still. So here's where we are. Roth must navigate these switchbacks, hopefully successfully, to maintain enough speed to catch up with Vogel and the Iceman, but also to avoid any contact with the moraine, anything that might damage the vehicle and create problems for your pursuit. So, who wants to do Roth's role this time?
I can do it. Okay.
Don't all volunteer, guys.
Okay, I'll take the responsibility. Okay, and I'm going to.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus!
Okay.
I'm not gonna do it again.
I mean, we're basically taking turns failing at this point.
Yeah.
welcome to tabletop role playing games, folks. The dice giveth, the dice taketh away. Okay, so let me think about what the next thing to do is while I'm trying to remember. Let me check my notes real quick as to what happens. Okay, so this is the Skarvik Pass challenge. Okay, so either Petra or Xavier, you need to make either a wits or an investigation check. Whichever one, my suggestion is whichever one of you has the higher one is the best one to take. I'll let you guys take a look at your character sheets and decide which one of you it is. If you need some help on that, let me know. But I think, let's see.
Well,
Freelish does not have investigation, so it would be a straight wits check for him. Alexa, let's see. You also do not have investigation, so it's
No,
actually a straight wits check for either of you.
I have a bonus to it +1.
Sounds like you would be the right person then.
No, I have a +3.
I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Mar Hockman?
I was going to say, it's like, if you're choosing who to do a wits roll, not me. I'm the guy
I
who gets
know.
a -2 to
I
dice.
actually have. You're occupied with something else. I actually have one coming up for you too. So let me know what you roll.
Okay, I rolled a 19. So it's a 20.
Okay, that's fantastic. All right. So, of course, so Roth rolled a 1 on her pilot check. That, of course, is always a failure. And you feel the impact as the Eisdrache slews into a pressure ridge and the gravity cushion stutters. The tank shudders, metals screaming against ice. It's a heavy impact. It takes your ice dragon takes 1 point of damage, which is lucky, and you got the minimum. So see, sometimes the DM rolls low, and it's good for you. Let me see. Okay. So basically, for a time, you guys are out of control while Roth tries to wrestle the controls back. So Vogel is still ahead. Obviously, you guys are not in a position to catch up with him right now. Let me do a check for Vogel real quick. Yeah. He actually gains a little bit on you guys. Okay. Now, So let's see. Based on my roll, Roth has gained like a half kilometer on you guys, so he's a little further ahead. Your 20, Alexa, is really good. So here's what you spot. You can see that he dropped some kind of caltrops designed to penetrate the vril cushion underneath the vehicle. You called out to Roth and she swerved. So there was no damage and no damage to the speed. So the vehicle has taken a hit but is otherwise unharmed, and the caltrops were avoided. So let me go back. Let's see. Let me check my next phase 2. I have multiple phases for this because I want to test these rules, and also because it's fun. Let's see. So here you go, guys. So let's see. Friedrich, you have a vague recollection of having viewed maps regarding this area. Obviously, as a leader type, you're expected to have a rough familiarity with the territory all around, because that's one of your chief jobs, of course, is to provide leadership and direction. So this is a situation where you might be able, with the correct role, to help make up some of the ground that has been lost through figuring out a shortcut through the switchbacks.
That would be
So
what? Intelligence?
let's see. So I would say, yes, this would be an intelligence roll, I'm sure. Yes.
So this is, well, it's a 12. I have no bonus.
Right.
So it's
Right. So let me check the okay. Sorry about that. I have to keep going back to my table. Let's see. So Friedrich, um, you you made your roll exactly. I set the TN at 12. Congratulations.
Yeesh. I
So
haven't failed.
Friedrich, you do in fact recall the shortcut. You and in fact you spot it just ahead through the moraine, and know that if Roth turns, it could save you guys 5 minutes and an entire kilometer.
So I
What do
will
you do?
recommend the driver to that maneuver.
And Roth does exactly what you tell her to do. Of course she does, because you are the vehicle commander. And she quickly turns into that track. All right. And literally, you guys have just cut off. So you have made up for the mistake Roth made hitting the wall of the moraine, and actually cut the distance between yourselves and the Iceman vehicle before you. So you've saved yourself both minutes and distance. And now the Iceman is closer rather than farther away. Alrighty, so next phase 2 skill check. Let's see. Okay. So the next skill challenge. Let's see. So Xavier, at this point in time, one concern you have is whether the pass has been warded in some way. You have both Real Technic and Xenolore, I believe,
1 point
and
of
you would
each.
be able. Hmm?
At
Yep.
1 point in each.
And yes. And so you would need to use your Vril Oga to try to determine which is the case. So this would be adding in this case, it would be wits, your wits bonus, not your intelligence bonus.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's really it's more of you using your real senses to spot something rather than applying your knowledge.
Okay. So I would have a total of -1 to the roll. Okay.
I thought you said you had one rank.
Yeah, but my
Oh,
wits bonus is -2.
Gotcha. Okay. So alas,
Yeah, that doesn't help work.
yeah.
So I guess the total roll was 3.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me take a look, and I need to make a record of what the results of failure are. Um, okay, that's what the result is. Okay, so you guys had shortened the gap. But Xavier calls out at the last possible minute award. Xavier, as a consequence, Roth has to slow down to give you a chance to disable the ward before you guys can resume full speed. So, as a consequence, you guys do lose a little bit of time and distance. All right. Let's see. Okay. So here's your current status. Oh wait. No, 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 never mind. Never mind. Sorry guys. I forgot that because of some earlier stuff, the pass is not warded. Right? He didn't have time to set the traps. So in point of fact, there's no wards to detect. You just aren't confident about them. So
Oh, okay. So,
my
well,
bad.
that was actually one of those things that I was wondering about is if Xavier thinks he saw a ward, but because he rolled low, he's actually mistakenly seeing a ward that isn't actually there.
Right. No, it works the other way. It's that he doesn't have any confidence whether one is or isn't there. But for that very reason, you know who you're dealing with in the pilot seat. She's not going to slow down unless she's specifically ordered to. So, um, okay. So, all right. So, okay. So Roth needs to make another pilot check. This one is a contested pilot check. And just whoever wants to make it.
I'm not going to do it again.
Amy, do you want to roll the pilot check this time?
Sure.
Just hit a d20. Ooh, natural 20. Very good. That is an extremely good success. Congratulations. So whatever her lack of confidence before, Roth does not seem impacted at all at this point. And indeed, Friedrich, you can feel it's almost like you're about to fall out of your skin. She is going so fast. And it's clear that she is desperately trying to make up ground. Um, any other pilot would probably slow down in this situation, but not Ross. Roth is just going through the switchbacks. It's like she's some kind of race car driver, and but this time she does not hit the moraine walls. She navigates perfectly. You can literally from your cupola seat, you can see that you guys are leaving centimeters between your racing Ozdraka and the moraine walls as she goes around corners, and yet she never makes contact. Everything seems to be humming with a perfect resonance. So this actually has benefits because now you guys have a +1 to all your defensive rolls for the rest of the chase, which would stack with any existing bonuses. And the shortcut is vindicated because of her extremely good roll. Um, you guys do clearly. You guys don't lose any any um any distance. She's doing really good. So let's see, Alexa. We need another roll from you. You are of course deeply suspicious of the enemy you're chasing. You know how they've been trained because you were trained the same way. You would be looking for opportunities to set up an ambush. Go ahead and make your roll. Let's see if you can spot it. If there is one.
Okay, natural 20.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Let me check the table. That is awesome. So let's see. So what you're seeing is that there's probably a switchback with a heightened cloak sensor array hidden in the moraine wall. So Alexa, you call out the location. You're seeing it on the screen. You're aware that that's a dangerous ambush point. So Roth takes a different line wide through the switchback. And even as you do so, an explosion goes off to the left of the vehicle, but it's out of range. So none of the debris touches the Eisdrache that simply blows on through. So basically, no ambush damage from the mine that Vogel had managed to put in place. So you, as a result of your excellent roll, you're reading what Vogel's tactical intent is. Vogel is trying desperately. He knew he was being hunted, and he's willing to fight to do what he has to. So you will get, and please remember this, you will get a +2 to your next wits or influence check related to predicting Vogel's behavior. You've got a really good read on him. And finally, for just a moment, Petra, the main weapon, has a clear shot at the Iceman. You see it right there ahead of you, as does Friedrich. Friedrich, when you see the clear shot, what do you say?
Do we have to roll something now, or there's no need for that?
You don't.
Okay.
It's just a matter of what order do you give to Petra.
Okay, so Petra, shoot again.
All right, Petra,
Mhm.
now you do need to roll. Go ahead and make your ranged attack roll. Oh, that is excellent. Let's see. I
Well,
think that's a
it's a dirty 20.
total of, yep,
That's-
it's a dirty 20. And Xavier, did you want to try to shoot with the coaxial?
Oh yeah, sure. Might as well do that again.
Go for it, man.
Hey, that might actually hit. This counts my agility as the bonus, right?
It does.
So
It does.
that would actually be a total of 11. I don't actually have any skills for shooting things. At least not with
Exactly,
guns,
yeah.
I don't think.
Because you're a Thule occultist. You're really more of a wizard than anything else.
Yeah.
Although we don't call them that in this game. There are no wizards
the
in base
closest
11.
thing I have is technical 1, but I don't really think that applies to firing weapons. So
No, it's not a vehicle or ranged combat weapon.
So yeah, total of 11, and I'm not sure if that hits or not.
Well, the key thing is the main weapon did definitely hit. So, excellent. So go ahead and roll your 3d6 radiant.
For me?
No, for Petra.
Okay.
Okay.
10.
All right. So Xavier, your pental shot did miss. The real Strahlen carabiners beam lanced out, but the Iceman had just been hit by the Vril Lance main weapon, and it literally pushed it to the side just as your weapon fired. So your aim was actually good, but the impact to the Iceman from the Vril Lance connecting with it causes your beam to splash against the moraine wall, setting up a spray of superheated rock. So Petra, your Virulence connects with the Iceman and hits it hard as it's mid-climb over the pass. Freelish, you see the beam punch through the Iceman's port side armor, and you see an explosion of gas indicating that there's a portion of the drive that has been damaged. And blue-white real energy weeps from the wound that has been made, and the Iceman slews hard. And that's when you see the pintle mount shot miss, because the Iceman was in a position where it could have been hit, but of course, because of the impact from the other weapon, it's just not there anymore. The port stabilizer, it's just shredded. You can see the vehicle ahead is fighting for control, and you hear Roth say, "He's losing it! He's losing it!" But Vogel does manage to regain control, but the vehicle is now pulling badly and is notably limping to one side. Coolant is spraying across the snow in a blue-white arc. So at this point in time, your vehicle has mild damage, but is in good shape. The gap is noticeably narrowed. Vogel's vehicle is decidedly damaged at this point. Xavier, you've used 2 of your 4 disciplines, and Alexa, you get a +2 bonus to your next check on Vogel's behavior. So at this point, phase 2 is over. Both tanks clear the Skarvik spine. There is now only 50 kilometers of open plateau to the Shrike's nest. Vogel is wounded, and his vehicle is anyway. It's handling poorly, and you can see that from your position. All right. So now we move to the next phase. So the plateau opens up like a white sea. The Skarvik spine falls away behind you. Ahead, the ice is unbroken. A white hell stretching to the horizon, marked only by the faint gray smear of the Shrike's Nest on the northern skyline. The Iceman that you are pursuing is clearly visible. It's barely more than 2 kilometers away now, easily within weapon range. It's a gray shape against the white, headlamps cutting twin tunnels through the dark. You see the booster as a smudge of blue-white real light on the Iceman's rear stabilizer, the only intact one. The port side trails a thin ribbon of coolant vapor. And Roth says flatly over the radio, he's going to run. So, Xavier, you are aware from your expertise with Vril that any booster that the Iceman had would probably be keyed to a single activation. It will give him tremendous speed, but that's it. That's all he'll have. And because of the damage that was done at the Skarvik gap, the Skarvik spine, it's not going to be nearly as effective. In the cargo hold, Alexa, as you watch the Iceman's wake, you feel confident that he will have to turn. To him, the briefcase and its secrets would be everything. He's not just running from you guys. You know from your previous successful roles that he's running to something, and he has to get there.
I say this to the group.
Yes. Okay. And Friedrich, you know that you guys are going to have 30 seconds within which you can try to do significant damage to that weapon, to that vehicle. Maybe even prevent him from using his booster to try to escape you. So let me make a roll for Vogel. Okay. So, Friedrich, you know that this is a key moment. This could be the moment that decides whether the mission succeeds or fail. You know that all ship's weapons must be, all the tank weapons must be fired. And you, as leader, have the ability to use your Stimme des Kriegsrats to coordinate the valley and help make sure that they succeed in their attacks. So at this time, make your coordination roll. This will use both your influence, your charisma, and so you have a +4, right? Because you have a high charisma, and you have 2 influence.
Let me check that.
So-
So charisma is +2, and I have 2 influence. Right, that's it. +4.
Yep.
Okay.
Make
so
your roll, man.
Let's do this.
Do good.
Okay, not good, but not bad either.
And that's actually not bad at all. You did make your target number. The target number was 12.
Nice. Okay.
So everyone will get +2 to all their gunnery rolls this phase.
Okay, let's shoot this bastard.
Let's kill somebody, damn it. All righty. Let's see. So let's see. All right. So Petra, you kind of have 2 options to make here. You have become aware, sitting in the main weapons seat, that there's a bit of a harmonics going on with the vehicle's cushion drive. But your primary, I mean, you're the only person who can fire the primary weapon. So are you going to stay in the turret and fire the Vril Lance? Are you going to leave the turret to monitor the cushion?
Wow. Can I shout a warning?
You can say whatever you want to.
Well, I shout a warning about the harmonics to the air, and I stay with the Vril Lance.
Okay. So Petra. All right. So in front of you, Friedrich and Alexa, you both see the beginnings of the booster activation, right? So that's a warning sign that he has, in this desperate moment, decided to activate the booster, but it has not engaged yet. It's kind of like an afterburner. It takes a bit of time to wind up. Let's see. So Xavier, because of your abilities as a Thule occultist, his booster is Vril powered. You know that you have the ability, if you are able successfully to use your Vril pulse capability, you can disrupt that booster. It is a real technic roll, and you will use your intelligence, not your wits. So you would be a +4 on the roll.
Yeah, sure. It sounds like a good idea to try.
I was about to say it would be your third use of your daily discipline, but you can do it. Okay. You got a 16. You made it. The TN was a 14. All right. So basically, you concentrate and you get a mental image of Deglaka in your mind, and you feel real energy literally pull towards you from the vehicle and from the Antarctic ice itself, the force of the earth. And you open your eyes, and a beam of weird blue eldritch energy, almost like a stream, but moving as fast as lightning, shoots from your hands and strikes the rear of the S-Mon ahead of you. And the light of the booster begins to stutter. And you realize that you have disrupted its energy. Roth shouts out, "I don't know what just happened, but Vogel is losing speed." So see, you succeeded on this one.
I figured it was a
Okay.
matter of just rolling dice a lot more.
Yeah, well, eventually you get a good roll. It has to happen that way. If it doesn't, then you have to be very suspicious that the electronic dice are against you. Okay. All right. So at this point, Petra, let's see. I think we've reached the phase where you can fire the Vril Lance. You're getting a +2 to your gunnery roll, so add that to your usual bonuses. And let's see if you connect again.
It's a dirty 20.
Actually, you have a situational bonus that's on top of that. So, yeah, you're doing pretty good. So even though the booster kind of sort of started to fire, thanks to Xavier's use of his fool occultist abilities to manipulate the Vril, the vehicle's effectiveness in evading is considerably reduced because of the stuttering the booster has been induced. It's been disrupted.
Do I roll my damage?
Yeah, give me just a second. And go ahead, Xavier, while we're at it, and you can make an attack with the Pental weapon.
Sure.
Let's just resolve all the weapons at once.
So,
Oh, dear.
So I've gotten a 3, a 2, a 4, and now a 1. Okay.
So yeah, obviously, Petra, you did succeed. I'm just trying to make sure. Okay. Yeah. So go ahead and roll your 3d6 damage. Ah, very good.
14.
Unfortunately, so our rule that would happen with the Pental gun is that the vehicle shook while from hitting something. Of course, it's over the ice, so it doesn't hit anything. But there was a brief disruption where it suddenly went up and down, and this forced the firing cycle to jam on the weapon. This might also be kind of a side effect of your use of your Vril powers. You might have accidentally disrupted Vril locally as well as it applies to your Vril powered weapon. So, what you will need to do now, Xavier, to clear the weapon, you will need to make a technical roll. Vril Technic will work. Go ahead and make your roll.
Really? Okay.
Are you kidding me? Okay.
I mean,
You're
my
welcome to use
total
your own dice, by the way.
my total for this is 5, actually, but even so, that's probably not high enough.
It's not high enough. Okay, let me go ahead and narrate Petra your attack, since we know Xavier's didn't quite come off, and Friedrich, you notice the Pental weapon does not actually fire. So the Vril Lance, the pale blue beam focuses on the port side that's already been damaged, and then comes the bolt of real blaster energy, flashing across the darkness, lighting up everything like a meteor for a brief moment, and the beam punches through the Iceman's weakened port side armor. And now you see sign of drive core housing damage. The Iceman's rear stabilizer, the last intact one, visibly cracks Friedrich, and the vehicle ahead of you slews violently, its port side collapsing, blue-white coolant erupting from the damage. The vehicle is dying, and the man running it must be fighting the controls. Despite his having triggered the booster, he's still within weapon range on an open plateau with no cover. And now I've got to decide what he does. So, Alexa, let's see if you can figure out what Vogel's next move is.
Okay.
Go ahead and make your roll. So you are wits +2, influence +1, and you got that natural 20 earlier. So you're +2 from that earlier roll.
I rolled a
So that's a total of
17.
+5.
I rolled a 17, so +5, it's 22.
Okay. So your read, Alexa, is that he's going to turn. That he's just not in a position to outrun you anymore. His cushion is damaged. You guys are closing. He knows it. You figure he has nothing left, and the briefcase is everything. So he probably will turn and fight because it's the only choice he has at this point. He's got to take the risk. That's what you think.
Mhm. I tell them that. So they're going to go back.
Okay. So here's your choices, Friedrich. You guys can continue to focus on pursuing at standard speed. The problem with that is that if he were to choose to continue to run for whatever reason, he would get where he needs to get and you guys would lose valuable time. You can order Roth to redline to try to push past 100 kilometers per hour. And it depends upon the driver's ability. If she fails, you know that the cushions will take damage. But if she succeeds, you guys could very well catch up with him. The other option is for someone to go down and fire. The other thing you could do, I mean, you could try to use your influence to call for his surrender over the comms. But you have heard Alexa say he's going to turn and fight. So what do you do? What is your decision, Friedrich?
Okay. So I think I'll go with the second option, trying to
Push it.
push it, and
Okay. Let's see. Let me see. Okay. So Friedrich, you have technical 1. But as a leader, you can call adjustments to Roth over the intercom. So go ahead and make your technical roll to assist Roth. That should be a 1d20 plus 1. Okay.
not good. I'm not assisting her.
All right. So let me go ahead and make her roll. She did not roll well. Okay. Okay, so here is our setup at the moment. All right, let's see. So here's what happens. Roth does redline the vehicle, but fails to make the necessary real energy adjustments, even with your technical assistance, Friedrich. The cushion pushes past 100 kilometers per hour, but the harmonics are off. And now the vehicle does take some damage from the failed attempt to push the real energy, and it succeeds. It still goes faster, but with some damage to the vehicle. Okay. And you guys see that Vogel, as he turns around, it turns out his vehicle does have a Vril lance. Now, it does not look like it is well attached to the hull, but you now understand why that there was evidence of work done on the vehicle just before the escape. He must have attached a weapon to a vehicle that normally did not have one.
Well, I mean, the whole like turn and fight thing was like, wait a second. No, but wouldn't the briefing say he doesn't have weapons? What's he going to fight with?
They assumed he didn't have weapons.
Well, like like you said in the briefing, is that the vehicle that he stole was normally in a configuration that was unarmed.
Exactly. But it did, there did have oil on the floor. It did have gear out. He realized he might need weapons. It already had defensive weapons like the caltrops and the smoke and the booster, but all those have failed. One by one, those have been taken away from him. And now he's unlikely to actually get ahead of you guys far enough to do him any good. So now he's going to try to do you some damage and see if he can at least slow you down. And Alexa, that's exactly what you assume is happening. He's turning to fight in the hopes he's taking a risk, a significant risk, because he's not a soldier. In the hopes that he can do something to slow you guys down. So
Well, we need to take him down.
Yep. Let me do something here real quick. I need to make a couple of rolls. And let me make a roll for his shot. Oh, he sucks. That's what he gets for bringing a knife to a gunfight. Or rather, bringing a gun to a gunfight, but it's one he doesn't know how to use. Let's see. Okay. So now I'm having to track multiple things here. Give me just a second. Okay. So you guys see the kind of jury-rigged frill lance fire from the Icemon's turret. The beam lances out across the ice, a blue-white line against the aurora. But Friedrich and Alexa, you know that Vogel is not a gunner. He's not a warrior. He's a maintenance engineer, a very good one, but a maintenance engineer nonetheless. Firing a weapon system he helped to build and maintain, but never fired. That's not his job. And the Iceborne never gave him that responsibility, partly because he was an outsider to begin with. And like many outsiders, he wasn't trusted with weapons anyway. His aim is off by a mile, by meters anyway. I mean, the beam passes by. You see a line seared in the ice that glows orange for 3 seconds before the cold swallows it, but it's a complete waste. And the Vril Lance impacts somewhere in the distance with a dull thud. And you hear Vogel curse over the open comms frequency for the first time he's spoken since the chase began. And you hear the strain in his voice. Damn it, damn it, damn it!
Verdammt!
So, what do you guys want to do now?
Shoot him again.
Shoot him again? Okay. So Petra, go ahead and fire the Vril Lance. I'll give you a choice, Xavier. You can the Pental Mount is down. Do you want to go to the coaxial weapon and fire it? Because nobody's been maintaining the coaxial weapon.
Yeah, I mean, if we
'Cause you
don't
can't
have
see
anyone
anything.
else using it, I guess we could. I could try that using that one.
Make your attack. Oh, let's see, Amy. So let's see.
It's +6.
That's true. But of course,
But
he's in an ice. Well, it's a different variety of ice dragon, so it's normally fairly well protected.
so I don't know if 11 does it or not.
And I will wait on Xavier's roll for giving results.
Oh, hey, I actually got a good roll this time.
Oh yeah. So it looks looks Amy like Petra missed by 3 based on my calculations here. Your real lance beam tracked the Iceman, but the erratic circling and the closing distance and the jostling as a result of the red line, which does bring you closer faster, but because of the mistakes that were made with the technical rolls, the vehicle is no longer as smooth a gun platform. So the beam splashes against the ice mere meters from the Iceman's port side. So close, but not quite there. So I congratulate you, Xavier. You hit. You get triple damage because the coaxial is auto fire. So go ahead and roll 3d10. You hit it with that roll. You were able to hit it with multiple rounds. I mean, you just wham, 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 slammed into it.
Okay, looks like a 13 total.
So you guys see the Vril Lance, very disappointingly, the Vril Lance, which you know does tremendous damage when it floods into the inside of whatever it's hitting, because the Vril energy just kind of splashes everywhere. Alas, hit the ice just meters away from the rolling, chaotically maneuvering Iceman. But with the coax, you managed to hit the Iceman, Xavier. Good job. So um, oh wait, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. So it's triple damage. Give me a second. So instead of 13 points of damage, I misread my own rules. Sorry, guys. You didn't roll 3d10, you roll 1d10 and triple the damage. So 15 points of damage. So let's see. I'm trying to figure out what the effect of this is, because it's a pretty good hit. I mean, it's a really good hit. So the coaxial burst tears through the Iceman's port side, the side already weakened by the two Virulence hits. Rounds spark off the drive core housing. You see more fuel lines rupture. The tank lists hard to port. More blue-white coolant spraying in a wide arc. The Iceman is finally bleeding out. So let's see. Let me figure out what the additional rolls are in this phase. Let me see. Let's try this. Let me figure out what Roth's vehicle combat roll would be. Let's see. Petra, you have the opportunity to fire the Vril Lance again. Xavier, you can fire the coaxial again. I need to see if Vogel can fire again. No, he cannot because he's operating the vehicle by himself. So he has to spend this round reloading the Vril Lance. He has to either drive or fight. He can't do both.
Yeah, that I was kind of like wondering about that earlier because it's just like one of those. It's like there's a reason you have gunnery.
Yeah, yeah. He has to either drive or fight. He can't do both, and he is. This, of course, confirms for you that he is by himself because he does not immediately fire again.
Hmm.
So let's see.
So I guess both me and Amy roll a d20 again.
So let's see. Here's a command decision for you, Friedrich. What do you want Roth to do? So you have an opponent who's now fighting you. Roth can either do evasive maneuvers to gain defense, or Roth can try to can use movement, right? So Roth can try to close the distance and get closer. So how do you want to handle this? To close the gap or to evade?
I think this time it's better to evade.
Okay.
Increase our defense.
Okay. All right. And you, so both Xavier and Petra have the opportunity to go ahead and fire because you guys are maintaining, basically you don't have to choose between doing something else or fighting.
Sure. Okay. Hey.
Oh man.
What happened?
Now
See.
it's
Oh,
Amy's
dear.
turn for the low numbers.
Oh dear. And she's got your main weapon. Let me roll the pilot check for your pilot. Oh, that's really good. So, as a result of Roth's extremely successful evasive maneuvers, she's kind of slewing all over the place. Friedrich, you guys are +2 defense. So your defense is quite high because you already had a +1. Alas, you missed even worse this time, Petra. So not quite there. Xavier, you missed as well. Oh wait, I'm sorry. You're on full auto, right?
I don't know. See,
I'm going to assume you're
I
on
have
full
this
auto.
13 with I get +3 to the roll because that's my dex bonus, right?
And you get an additional +2 for the full auto fire.
Okay.
So you actually do hit. Go ahead and roll 3d10.
Okay, that's a total of 18.
So that's a total of 18. Yep. So again, at this closer range, the coax which is basically a 20 millimeter rapid fire gun, is starting to make major impact. It's not quite like a Bradley fighting vehicle gun, but it's the same concept. I think the Bradley fighting vehicle gun was what, 20 millimeter, 25 millimeter. So, so let's see. So that's a lot of damage, and the Iceman is getting torn apart now because of the side where the Vril Lance has basically damaged the armor. So the 20 millimeter high velocity coaxial rounds punch through, sparking off internal systems. And you see what looks like it may be secondary ammunition storage igniting a bright orange flash visible through the vision slits. The Iceman visibly shudders from the impact of the weapon hitting it. Whereas you guys, basically, your Panzerkampfwagen 9 is the Eisdrache is in good shape, except for the jammed pintle mount. So let's see. Now Vogel will choose to fire back because he is now reloaded. All right. And Petra, go ahead and make your roll for you to attack with your Vril Lance. Oh, natural 20.
Plus 6. So that's a 26.
Go ahead, Xavier. Let's see what the coaxial does.
Oh, okay. Oh, again. Ah, that's not as large of a number.
I know it isn't. But bear in mind, you've done pretty well. I mean, you're a Thule occultist. You're not really a gunner either. But you are iceborn and therefore inherently superior to lesser men. Let's see. So let's start resolving some damage. Petra, go ahead and roll 3d6.
5.
Oh, okay. So here is the great irony. Even though Vogel rolled pretty well, he's not a gunner, and you guys have really good defense. So he missed by quite a bit. The Iceman fires its jury-rigged Vril Rants, but it maybe the targeting is in bad condition. Maybe internal systems have deprived the vehicle of necessary stability as a gun platform. In any event, the beam lances out and passes wide of the front of the ice Straka you guys are in. It's searing a line in the ice, but it does him no good. And now he's cursing constantly, saying again and again and again, it's something in a language that is not German, yeah, and he's, you keep hearing him saying it over and over again, almost like a chant.
Can we talk
Petra,
to
your
him?
hit was phenomenal. So once again, your virulence tears into the Iceman, doing critical damage. I mean, just massive amounts of damage. Let's see.
Can we talk to
So
this
at
guy?
this point, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can we talk to this guy?
Well, you've been hearing him over an open comms thing. So the virulence beam punches through the Iceman's port side, and it kind of detonates inside the drive core housing, and you see signs that there's a fuel line rupture, and you hear for the first time the scream of dying vril technology in the distance, this thin sound that rises into a howl and then cuts out, and you see his gravitic cushion collapse, and the tank itself, the Iceman, drops hard into the ice. It just shatters. It's wrecked. It's not destroyed, but it's wrecked. And you see the commander's cupola, Friedrich, in that vehicle, in Vogel's vehicle, open. The emergency release triggered by impact, and you see a man poke his head out. He's bleeding from a cut on his forehead. You see his clothing, his emergency winter clothing, because he is, after all, a normal human being and not iceborne. He can't just walk around in negative 50 degrees Celsius weather like you guys could and survive it. But you see that it's badly damaged. You see burn marks. You see indications of damage. Clearly, bad stuff's been happening inside the Iceman. You see him standing up, waving his arms. And you hear over the open comms, "Enough! Enough! I yield! I yield!" Xavier, you fired your weapon, but did not make contact this time, but you came close. 20 millimeter rounds slashed into the ice not far from the vehicle. Maybe that spawned Vogel's panic, the fact that you guys had been successfully hitting him, and now he just wants to avoid another hit. So there you guys are. He has surrendered.
I would guess it's also somewhat demoralizing for him, where he has to wonder whether or not he even hooked up the targeting for the weapon correctly.
You'll never know. But I mean, the vehicle is literally, it's weird because there is smoke, which you would expect with damaged mechanics in a vehicle like that. But there's also these kind of streamers of translucent, crackling blue energy that periodically pulse over the hull of the Iceman, which Xavier, you recognize, and really the team all realizes, but you particularly feel and see as the vril energy stored in the vehicle's core leaking out. I mean, it's literally bleeding vril energy back into the earth. Your guys, so here's your status. Your vehicle is lightly damaged. The cushion is a little bit strained. Your speed is still near maximum. All your weapons are fully functional except the Pental, which is still jammed but is not damaged. It's jammed. Somebody would have to clear it with a technical roll. You still have plenty of ammo. You're all alive and functional. And Xavier, you have one of your disciplines remaining. You used your 3 of your 4 disciplines for the day. Iceman is wrecked. And it's just laying on the ground against the pressure ridge, about 40 kilometers from its intended goal. Vogel looks alive and wounded, but he has got his hands up and he is surrendering. So what do you guys do?
How far are we from him?
Oh, you're very close. You're at most a kilometer at this point.
Captain, are we going to kill him?
Not yet. Let's approach him and try to capture him unless he does something stupid.
Okay. So basically, what else do you guys do at this point? You're just going to go up and take him?
Yeah, I mean, our mission is to capture him alive if possible, but obviously, the primary objective is to prevent him from, sharing secrets with the enemy.
Right. Well, right now he is kind of crawling out of the cupola, keeping his hands above his head. His hands are open. You can see the palms of his hands. You can see little rivulets of blood coming down his face, presumably from some kind of minor scalp injury he suffered through the various explosions in the vehicle. The vehicle itself is smoking and bleeding out real energy. It's a complete wreck. It's not destroyed. Could it theoretically be repaired? Yes, but not out there. It is wrecked. So you guys go over and take custody of Vogel, I assume.
And the documentation and the file and everything, right?
Okay, so when you take him, he doesn't have the suitcase on him. He's just kind of on his knees in the snow with his arms up, his hands up. And he just keeps saying, I surrender, I surrender.
Yes.
Take
we
me
understand.
prisoner, please. I do not resist.
Yeah, that sort of behavior is going to make me suspicious, so I'm going to just look around to see what he's trying to distract me from.
Okay, which is appropriate because your character's paranoid. Go ahead and make a real technic roll.
Oh, goody, more low numbers.
You do not see any sign of any kind of trap or booby trap or anything like that.
Where is the documents you were stealing from us?
Vogel says it's in the Iceman. They're there in the cargo hold. That's where the suitcase is.
Okay, I will approach the vehicle cautiously.
All right. Alexa, what are you doing?
Is this vehicle close by? We need to see if the files are there.
Yeah. Friedrich said he's approaching the vehicle to go get the documents. Vogel already said that the documents were in the cargo hold of the Iceman, which is his vehicle. And it's right there. I mean, you guys walked over to take custody of him. Let's see. Go ahead and make a Xenolore check for me,
Yeah, that's
Alexa.
what I was thinking, if it makes sense to do that. Okay, I rolled a 16.
Okay, that's enough. So you figure a couple of things. Number one, you figure he will probably have a concealed weapon. So you need to check him and remove it. So you need to search him. You're confident of that.
Yes, I'll tell Javier. We need to search him.
Okay. So you guys can search. You just need to make your search rolls. I don't think you guys have investigate, but of course everyone has search 1. So, and you can add your wits bonus to it if you have a bonus. Petra, what are you doing?
Well, I was going to hit the guy and tell him to give us the suitcase, but y'all have circumvented that. So
I was about to say he is apparently perfectly cooperative. Yeah, so what did you roll on your search, or Hawkman?
Well,
Okay.
the roll is 13. Do I put the -2 on this one for the wits roll?
Yeah, I'm afraid your lack of observation does curse you
So
here.
that
But...
one would be an 11 modified then.
And Alexa, what do you get on your search?
Natural 20.
Okay. So between the two of you, here is what you find. Let's see. So, Alexa, you know there are certain kinds of defensive weapons that he will have. So his left sleeve is empty, but in his right sleeve, you do see a small object taped to the inner forearm. You pull it free, and it is a pheromone dart. You heard after you brought Varga in that they found one on him. This was one of the things that you guys got kind of a markdown for because you didn't search him before you brought him in. That's how you ended up being double checked by the science section because they couldn't understand why you hadn't searched him for weapons. It is one dose. It is not lethal. You know that the dart essentially is a knockout dart. But you also know there's also defensive weapons. So you check his teeth, weird though it may seem, because you are familiar with this. And when you press your thumb against his cheek, he winces, and you feel the capsule there. It's an acid tooth, a failsafe. So you order him to open his mouth, and he does because he doesn't want Petra to kill him. And you reach in with your gloved fingers and extract the fake molar, and you see the small glass capsule with the acid tooth. And then finally, there's the characteristic hand disc or control disc that you find in his right palm. A small circular disc, bronze black, and with the characteristic chitin texture of Xenolord technology. And again, this was another item that you guys, when you brought Varga back, they found this on him that you guys had not searched him first. And you are familiar with this. This is a pheromone handler. It's used not so much to control spore creatures like the butcher at the Kroll saddle. Can't really control them, but it is used to make you not a target. So other people will be the target, not you. So you grab it, and so now he's disarmed. He has no dart, no acid tooth, and no hand disc. And so you guys are free to tie him up. Friedrich, you go into the cargo compartment of the Iceman, and you do find the magnetically sealed briefcase in the cargo hold. You know that Vogel will have the key or the code to unlock the magnetic seal. Do any of you guys want to do anything else while you're there?
Look around to see if there's anything else he stole as he was leaving, I guess.
Okay, so you go into the Iceman and search for additional intelligence. Go ahead and make a search check. Alexa, I guess you're kind of occupied with Vogel. Petra, do you want to do anything?
No, I'm just watching him. I'm good.
Okay. Okay, so Alexa is occupied with Vogel. So you've tied him up. Friedrich has recovered the suitcase, and Petra is guarding Vogel. And let's see, what else is there left to do during this session? Okay. So Xavier, you search the Iceman methodically. You're a Thule occultist, not a specialist, but you do know Vril architecture better than anyone else. You check the maintenance logs, the tools, tool racks, the personal effects of the driver. You do find the usual maintenance logs. These are standardized Raka service records. They're recent, so you can take those. You do find the toolkit. It is a good quality, well-organized toolkit that you would expect a chief engineer to have. You do find some personal effects. There's a photograph. It's torn, though. It seems to show a woman and two children, and the woman appears to be half ripped away in the photo. You see a half-eaten protein bar and a dog-eared copy of a Thule Archive maintenance manual. And you see this standard issue Vril diagnostic tablet. As you examine it, you find nothing anomalous about it. So there you go. That's all you find. What do you guys want to do now?
I go back to where the guy is and ask him, where is the key?
Okay, so Vogel gives up the key very carefully. Not, he's been tied, so he basically indicates to you where on his outfit the key is located.
Okay, try the key.
Right. Let's see. Xavier, you were searching the Iceman. You know what you found there. Alexa, you were watching Vogel. Petra, you were also watching Vogel. So Friedrich, he gives you the key. And so Xavier, basically, when you come out of the tank, the Iceman, you can report that you found nothing out of the ordinary. There was a standard maintenance kit, personal effects. You didn't find any hidden documents, concealed weapons, or additional intelligence. The tank, the Iceman, the tank itself is gutted. It's not in a drivable condition. So if somebody wants to recover it, they'll have to bring out a repair team. So you do find you do open the briefcase, and you find it is lined with an alien-looking, you presume Xenolord technology material. It's organic. It's not, despite the fact that the object looks like a standard Iceborne technology suitcase. The internal clearly is something that represents one of Vogel's hidden experiments with the Xenolord technology that he had access to. So there are a couple of compartments. In one, you find a data slate of Thule Archive manufacturer. The screen is cracked but functional. And when you power it on, you see that it does indeed contain the base 211 defensive schematics. Now, they're incomplete, but they're enough to identify the hangar bay locations, the Eugenic Holland access corridors, and De Glauca's chamber entrance. So this is critical data that he had access to. You also see War Council personnel files, names, photos, known schedules, psychological profiles, the sort of thing that would be useful to Xenolord intelligence. And you see various Oberkommando mission reports, including the full reports of Team Icewolf's recent adventures at the Kroll Saddle and Marta Station, along with the Vril source coordinates. In compartment 2, you see a second data slate of different manufacturer. This is not Iceborne technology. From the look of it, you assume that this must be of Xenolord manufacture. It's got kind of a black housing with no visible buttons and no screen, and it hums. Xavier, when Friedrich takes it out, you can feel the resonance from across the ice. It's alive in some sense. It's not truly biological, but it's not mechanical or real powered either. Xavier, go ahead and make a real technic roll.
Okay. Okay. I think I get a +4 to this, so that's a total of 10.
You get to add your intelligence and your skill rank.
Yeah, real technic. I think I have a skill rank of 1 and a 3 for intellect, so that would be 10 total.
Okay. That is sufficient. You recognize that that's a receiver, not a transmitter, a receiver. It's clearly something that's meant to be received from the Xenolords. And I apologize, Friedrich, there actually was a third compartment. You find a sealed envelope made out of paper. Do you open it?
Yep. Let's check.
All right. Handwritten in German, you see the following. To the operative who opens this, the data slates are your authentication. Without them, you're a deserter. With them, you are a voice inside the collective's ear. The receiver is your new ear. When you reach the nest, place it in the central relay pod. The pod will recognize it. The pod will open a channel, not to the collective's commanders, but to a single voice, a voice that has been waiting for someone to listen. And that voice will tell you what comes next. And if you are reading this and you are not the operative, the data slates are useless to you without the receiver. The receiver is useless without the nest. The nest is useless without the briefcase. You have won nothing. You have delayed nothing. The sleeper wakes regardless. A friend. And beyond that, the letter is not signed. The handwriting is not Vogel's. It is an older hand, careful, deliberate, the penmanship of someone educated, you think, in the pre-war German tradition.
Interesting. Well, apparently everything is in here, right?
So far as you are aware, yes. So, Xavier, you are aware that while this is not real technology, it is real power. You theoretically could use one of your disciplines, real auga, the sense tier, to try to read its resonance and get some information regarding it.
Yeah, sure. Don't really see a better option, I guess.
Okay. So you go ahead and use your fourth discipline of the day. And here is the result. This device is dormant and waiting. It is keyed, you are aware, it is keyed to a specific activation signal, a signal that you assume must be coming from the Shrike's Nest central relay pod. Something similar to what you guys saw underground at Marta Station. And without that signal, it's just warm rock. But if it ever receives the signal, it will open a channel. And if that channel is opened, it would be a connection, a true connection with the Xenolord Collective.
How did he get that? That's what I want to know. How did he get it?
What do you do, Friedrich? Petra is saying, how did he get it? Xavier is giving you all this information about it.
Sorry?
So, again, Petra is saying, how did he get it? How did he get that particular Xenolord slate, the receiver? Xavier has just given you information about what it is. You guys are kind of standing out in the Antarctic cold. The Iceman, you've already been told, is too badly damaged to be driven. Someone will have to come out, repair it, and then take it back. Your own vehicle is waiting with Roth behind the wheel, and you have Vogel in your custody along with the items he stole. What do you want to do at this point?
We have what we needed, so I think it's time to go back. And send them.
Okay. All right. And that is the end of the first session of Shadows of the Past. So I was trying to make sure we didn't run way over this time, which I think I succeeded at, perhaps too well. We only got to play about 2.5 hours today. I really don't. I mean, I have other stuff ready, but it would get us into running a lot longer than I had really planned on for today's session. So, if it's okay to you, we'll just narrate the return. So,
I kind of felt this was like a natural stopping point sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it is, and the truth is, you guys did pretty darn well in your attacks. And you've helped me out a lot. This highlights some weaknesses and some gaps in the vehicle combat rules and all that kind of stuff. I need to go through and rework some things, but that's precisely why we're doing this. Well, part of it also just to have fun. So you guys turn south, and Roth engages the drive, and you guys head back across the ice at about 79 kilometers per hour. Ross mentions briefly and dispassionately that there's some slight damage that will have to be repaired when it gets back to the mechanics bays. Behind you in the distance, the wreckage of the Iceman gradually recedes and disappears. Vogel has been bound and put down in the cargo hold. He's silent. He stares at nothing in particular. Friedrich has control of the precious briefcase. And it's an 8-hour ride to base 211. And you guys arrive at the Hanibu hangar. You roll into Hangar Bay 2 at 0300. The bay is still in lockdown. Amber lights, armed guards at every access point. The hum of emergency power. The other Eistraka's gone, dispatched to the western perimeter to Gate 7 to the hunt for Mertz's people. The bay is empty except for the team, the 2 techs who refuel them in silence. Feldwebel, Anna Roth, shuts down the drive core and does not look back as she climbs out. She's done her job. Like many of the Iceborn, she doesn't waste time with emotions. It's something that the Iceborn as a people have kind of been intentionally evolved beyond. Like the ice itself, they are very cool and tend not to react strongly to situations. A Krieger detail takes Vogel. They are efficient, professional, and utterly silent. He is led down a corridor towards the brig, and the sound of his boots on the metal decking fades into the hum of the base. Friedrich, you know that now that you guys have arrived, that the base commander will be waiting for you to deliver the briefcase to him in the war room.
Mhm.
So you guys have successfully completed session 1 of Shadows of the Past. So how did you guys enjoy this session? Did you enjoy the skill checks and the chase and the weapons and all that kind of stuff? Do you have any suggestions since we have a little bit of time, or any impressions?
Vehicle combat
Okay.
It's something I
Go ahead.
would never do, so I have no suggestions about that. Just I think it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't run it, but yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I mean, especially since you have the discs and the ice tanks and stuff like that, it seems like this is, to me, this feels like a natural for vehicle combat. And I mean, after all, the system does have the rules. Now, I think they need a little bit of refinement. For instance, the Vril Lance really should be more powerful than it is. I mean, it's powerful enough in some ways, but the auto fire aspect of the coaxial actually makes it potentially do more damage. And I didn't really mean for it to work out that way.
Well, another thing that I noted that was interesting is that you have the one that's supposed to be the big gun roll 3d6.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Although
it ignores the first 6 points of damage, and then it also does, every time it hits, it destroys a system. Whereas the coaxial gun, which is like a 20 millimeter cannon, autocannon, right? Kind of like a Vulcan cannon or something like that. Just does straight damage and doesn't have the armored penetration capability. But it still doesn't feel like it's enough. I agree. It's the Vril Lance needs to be more powerful, so I'm probably going to change that.
I mean, you could have it as one of those things where it's like if the damage roll is over a certain amount, then you can just like say like, oh, that blows off the armor plate, and you know, it's like that armor plate's gone now, instead of just doing, you know, numerical damage.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of things I could do. I could distinguish between regular damage and vehicle damage as well. So, in other words, vehicle mounts, because I know Traveler does that. In Traveler, vehicle damage is entirely different from personal scale damage. So, like a fusion cannon, which in Traveler technically does like 2 points of damage, vehicle damage, they said the equivalent of it, basically, it would it would on a personal scale, it simply disintegrates things because it does something like, you know, 10d6 damage. I mean, which is a ridiculous amount. So
Isn't that kind of like the concept of mega damage that some other games have, where it's like one way of looking at damage, this is a 1, but on this other way of looking at damage, it's a really big number.
Yeah.
I
want to keep it abstracted and simple.
There's one thing that I remember seeing. I don't remember the name of the game, and it was one of those things where, yeah, it kind of had a table associated with it that, well, the table was what made it work, and I don't remember what the table actually was, but the gist of it was, you know, it's like, do X amount of points of damage, and then look to see what happened as the result of the damage, because like vehicles in that didn't really have hit points the same way player characters did. They would kind of have systems to knock offline, and you do X damage and it knocks Y system offline and stuff like that.
True.
I don't remember the name of the game though, and I didn't memorize the table. I just looked at it once or twice, like, huh, this sounds like a good idea. And that's, yeah, I don't remember anything else.
So, yeah. So what basically, I think that I do need to make some adjustment there, because people will probably want to fight. I mean, they have these neat saucer craft, and you have these neat ice, hover tanks. And so it makes sense that people will actually want to be able to use those things and chase with them and fight with them. But it does feel like, to keep the system simple, I need to find a way to abstract it.
Yeah.
So it's a little simpler to actually use.
One of my personal experiences is that having vehicles in any game means that players are going to want to use them in combat. Not all players, obviously, but enough players. Just because they're there.
Yeah, and I mean, and also, frankly, vehicle chases can be a great source of tension in a game. contested pilot roles, mechanic roles, various roles to improve either maneuvering or increase speed or improve weapons capabilities or improve
Natural
defense.
hazard. Sorry
I'm
to interrupt.
sorry?
Natural
Yeah, go ahead.
hazard.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. And natural hazards as well. So there's so many things and it's just something that's so rich in a game that gives you that option. Why would I not have it? It just makes sense. And I can see players using it because they'll enjoy it. It's an easy way to put a session together because if you do it right, a chase scene could end up taking a nice little chunk of a session and still everybody has tons of fun and everybody gets to do something, which is the other thing is you always want to make sure that everybody's engaged. That's the other thing I was trying to do this session was make sure everyone stays engaged and has something to do. So the only negative is that without so you guys don't have a pilot. So I'm always having to give you NPC pilots, which is fine. So that's one thought I've had. The other one is that technically you guys do have people who can do technical stuff, but you don't have a dedicated specialist like Erish because Pedro doggone him decides to go to the beach instead of play games on Saturdays.
Oh,
And
that is actually one thing I was wondering at the beginning is that you could have had an NPC mechanic or something on this.
we could, but I'm old fashioned. I want the party to make the decisions as to what happens.
See, but we have the actual team leader is one of the party members. The other one person is just kind of sort of an NPC who does what the team leader says.
I guess. Like I said, the problem is if I give you both a pilot and a mechanic, it's almost like you've got two people who are doing a big chunk of the thing that enables everything else. And I really wanted the party to do most of the roles. But yeah, there's no question. This is a game. It's kind of like D&D in that respect. You want a wide array of party roles because everyone has something to do.
And sometimes you need hirelings because the party doesn't have that specific skill.
Yeah. And that is the other option is that, when the character's created, people can make sure they have certain skills. That's the other option.
Because sometimes you don't have, when there's always the problem with this when you need a party and you don't have enough people to cover everything, right? Because in this case, for example, we have 2 warriors. Yes, maybe we one of us should have done a mechanical. Just to make sure that we're covering here. Because it doesn't make sense for a character. Sometimes we can have some skills, but it may not make sense, right, to have those extra skills since the beginning.
So it might be useful for someone to learn piloting. It wouldn't replace having a pilot, but just in.
Well, another thing is that our team is basically a commando group, and I guess having people with mechanical and technical skills does make sense, but it's also it's like, is it really the
well, remember, technically in this game, because this is pulp style, there's no, like in regular Red or Wretched, there's a penalty for using an untrained skill, but not in this game. This game is pulp style. So if you don't have skill ranks, you can still make a roll and apply your attribute bonus.
I do
because
like how
you're pulp heroes.
I do like how in some games it's like normal everyday things you and anyone can do without a penalty. Certain people are better at them and get bonuses, but then you have specialized tasks where maybe your odds of doing it without a special skill are basically non-existent. But it depends on what the task is, whether you need to have training in order to be able to attempt it. Oh, like the occultist stuff. Yeah, normal people would be like, huh, it's a glowing rune. I wonder what that is. And that's about as far as it would go.
So let's see. Let me do some quick calculations on the XP and Fleisch Ice awards. So I think you guys might want to take some time to go through the rules now that you're back at base before we head to the second session. And spend some of your hard-earned XP, because I believe each of you already had each of you already had 18 XP. So and Fleisch Ice can be a little more difficult to calculate, but let me go ahead and calculate XP so you guys have that. And then you can go through the rules or reach out to me and ask me, and I'll say this is what you need to do. I mean, it's pretty standard. It's what you would expect in a micro red game. But you guys did a good job on this one. And so I believe you guys have earned max XP for this session and have earned individual bonuses as well. So let's see. Let's see. You guys have a total. You all got 12 XP for this session because you hit all the award bonuses for this session. So you guys each have a total of 30 experience points that you could spend to improve your characters if you wish to do so. Friedrich and Petra, you have gained a +1 ice on the Fleisch Ice gradient. So Friedrich is at +7. Petra is at +7. Xavier, you are still at +5. And due to bad dice rolls and key points. But that's how it happens sometimes. Alexa, you have shifted +2 towards ice, so you are now -9 on the Fleisch Ice gradient. So you're continuing to make your redemption arc. And 30 XP for everyone at this point.
How many? 30? Okay.
Everybody has a total of 30 XP. You sure do. Friedrich, Petra, Xavier, and Alexa, you all are sitting at 30 experience points.
Huh.
And
my character sheet said I had 26 before I started this. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, that's a little weird because I think you all started this session at 18.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it said that. Oh, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a look, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. So in any event, you guys will all be setting at 30 XP at this point. And you guys are all ready for session 2. So I guess we can break and everybody can go back to their weekend stuff and get dinner and go to bed or do whatever it is you want to do. Thank you for playing. I will put up the notice for you guys this weekend. And I do plan on playing same time next Saturday. I hope everyone can join, but if you can't for some reason, I understand.
All right.
All righty.